Hello my butterflies, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, I hope that you guys would like and subscribe to my channel and stick around for more videos to come. But today I'm going to be talking about my favorite eyeshadow palettes and why I recommend them to you guys. So without further ado, let's get into the video. With the drugstore slash affordable category, which is the one that I had the most trouble with, just because I have most of my palettes are drugstore or affordable, but I wanted to really pick out the ones that I really truly loved the most. And my deciding factor had to do with like the mattes and the shimmers and how they performed equally and how easy they were to blend out. I was able to narrow it down to 3, and the first one that I have is the Believe Beauty eyeshadow palette. You guys saw me use this one for a dedicated review for Believe Beauty, and I really loved it. I still use it a lot. I feel like the eyeshadow palette, even though it's only $5, the shimmers on it are super pigmented and the mattes were able to blend out super easily. The only thing that I don't like about this eyeshadow palette is that it doesn't have a transition shade that is light enough. As you guys can see, the only 2 mattes that it has are these 2 right here, and this one's more like a satin finish, and then the other 3 are shimmers. That is the only downside to this, but I was easily able to incorporate it with another palette and just made it work beautifully. Up next, I have the Esmeralda 2 palette by Beauty Creations. This palette is well loved. I love this palette, from the mattes to the shimmers. Oh my gosh, this palette, if I'm not mistaken, is only like $12. But it has the most creamiest eyeshadows ever. They blend out like a dream, and these shimmers are so high, like high intensity. You would think that it's like a $40 eyeshadow palette, not even kidding. I use this one for whenever I'm going out, even just to do like a little bit of day-to-day looks. I like to use it. Clearly it is well loved. Front and back, you guys can see how dirty it is because I love using this eyeshadow palette. It is really good. I can't really say anything more about it. The last eyeshadow palette for the drugstore slash affordable category is the Atlantis palette by Face Candy, and it's this gorgeous palette of like greens and blues, and it's just so pretty. Now I wanted to incorporate an eyeshadow palette that was colorful because the other 2 were neutral eyeshadow palettes. This palette, I got it on the what is it called, the Hush app. I don't even know if they're still running anymore, but I bought it off of that app, and this palette blends like a dream. There's so much pigment in these eyeshadows, and again, the shimmers are like super high impact. Let me show you guys. Okay, you see that? That is like super pretty. Now it might not be as reflective because of my light here, but you guys can see how pigmented that is. That is super pretty. When it comes to blue eyeshadow, I feel like a lot of times when I'm using other palettes, it can turn either really gray or really muddy, and the color like sort of meshes together. But with these eyeshadows, it doesn't do that. I've used it only for I think I've used this palette only by itself. I don't really incorporate it with other palettes because it is that good, and it doesn't do that. Like, you can see the gradient between the super light blue and the dark blue, and it doesn't turn muddy at all. Now moving to the, what should I call this, like the in-between category. The first one that I have is the Reina Rebelde eyeshadow quad, and this is the eyeshadow quad Azteca. I really like this one, and I like the concept behind it where you can use the eyeshadows either wet or dry, and they really work amazingly. They blend out really nicely. This one is $18. So where I feel like it really performs its best is in durability. Like the eyeshadows will really stay looking like you just applied them in the morning, like all day. You could be wearing them for 5 hours and they're still gonna look the same. So I think that's where this eyeshadow palette really shines. And also because you have like your complete sets right, you have a complete eyeshadow look right here. So if you're someone that doesn't like to do crazy amounts of eyeshadow, but you want something that's really nice and it's gonna last, you have it all right here. You know, you have this one right here is actually a lot lighter than what it looks in the pan. So you just use this one as a transition, this one on the outer corner, and you got 1 or 2 options for a shimmer. That's the whole look, you know. Last eyeshadow palette that I have in the in-between category is the Mini Masquerade by Juvia's Place. This one along with this one, they're my ride or dies. Like, I know these two aren't gonna let me down whenever I'm feeling uninspired and I just don't know what to do with my makeup. I either pick up this one or this one, and they're amazing. This one retails for $20, but you do get 16 eyeshadow shades, and you get 5 mattes and then 8 shimmers, and then I think like 2 metallic-y ones. They have like a little bit of glitter, but I wouldn't necessarily call them shimmers. Amazing. It's just really good. The formula is really good. The formula reminds me a lot of this one, where the mattes are super like buttery and they blend out amazingly like a dream. The shimmers are also really intense in this eyeshadow palette, which is, to me, it's ultimately what sold me and gravitated me towards this palette in the first place, was like these 3 right here, and I was sold, you guys. Let me do another swatch for you guys. You guys see, these are actually the same color. Well, no, one of them's a little bit lighter than the other one, but can you see how pretty they are? Moving on to my high-end category, I am going to be judging these palettes a little bit harsher just because they are more expensive. Some of these, well, one of these is like really expensive. Moving on to the next eyeshadow palette, I have the Jeffree Star Jawbreaker palette. This one I also did a review on the eyeshadow palette, and I said I would do an update on that specific video. I have played around with it a little bit more. I think when I first got it, if I remember correctly, I only used like 3 shades, but I tried using it a few more times. I tried giving this particular blue here a chance, but I noticed that every time I kept going in with that blue and I would blend it out, it turned gray. And this is something that I mentioned earlier on, where I was having issues with certain palettes and their blue eyeshadows turning gray. Also, it was a little bit hard to blend it out without it turning patchy. I did mess around with this yellow one and it wasn't that pigmented either. Besides those 2 shades, the other shades that I've been playing around with, which I still haven't gotten to using all of them, have been really good. They have been really pigmented but soft at the same time, because in the end, most of these are still pastel colors, so they're gonna be soft regardless. This is something that you can use incorporated with other eyeshadow palettes. You can I don't know, you can do like a soft brown look and then add a little bit of pop of color of something. I don't know why it was so hard getting through that one. Last but not least, I have the Blood Sugar eyeshadow palette, which is another Jeffree Star eyeshadow palette. This one, the only disadvantage that it has is the bulkiness of the packaging, but once you get past that, it is a beautiful eyeshadow palette. This one, if I'm not mistaken, is one of Jeffree Star's more toned down eyeshadow palettes, if I dare say. Like, it is so beautiful. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he released this one for like a Valentine's Day thing or around that time, because that is the vibes that I get from this palette. They're just so pretty. This eyeshadow palette, the formula is amazing. This palette is like, what, like $54, $55, I think. But the formula totally makes up for it. I'm actually wearing it on my eyes right now. And it's so pigmented, you don't have to keep dipping in with your brush to build up the color. I mean, you can if you do it with a light hand. For the most part, I don't do that. I just quickly can do an eyeshadow look seriously within like 5 to 10 minutes using this eyeshadow palette, because the eyeshadows blend out so good. I don't have to be sitting there blending my eyeshadow out wondering if it's gonna look patchy, because it's never happened to me with this eyeshadow palette before. There is a little bit of fallout in the shimmers, but if you can get past that, the quality is amazing. And also, his eyeshadow palettes come with a nice sturdy mirror, so that is a plus for me, and it is another reason why I love this palette so much. That is all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed my video. I know I kind of sped through everything, but it's only because I don't want to make this video super boring, so I wanted to get to the main points. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you guys already haven't. Leave some comments down below on if you guys have tried any of these eyeshadow palettes, and also let me know what your favorite eyeshadow palette is and why. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye!